Yes, it's Jafro and he is live. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
Yeah, yeah, I'm all good, man. Thank you for having me, bro. How are you?
No worries, yeah, I'm alright. Just as good as you
Good,
can
good.
be at the moment, obviously lockdown and that. But
I hear,
I was just thinking, obviously you're from Leicester. Um I don't think Leicester's ever actually come out of lockdown, has it? Like throughout the whole thing, like
bro. I swear Boris hates us, bro. Like, do you know what? Yeah, like, obviously, I get the importance of like self
Mhm.
isolation and social distancing and stuff, but man, other places seem to have just had so much more joy than
Mm,
us. Like in this whole lockdown period, it's peak.
it
It's
is
peak if you're
peak.
from Leicester right now.
And obviously, I know obviously from having lived there briefly that it's such a small place as well, like for a city,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
so to be on lockdown for this long, like
mm,
no. Well, how
yeah.
has that affected you? Because you've still put out like music quite consistently throughout
Yeah, man.
2020. So how have
Yeah,
you
man.
how
You
have you
can't stop
managed
the
that?
Jaguar. You can't stop the Jaguar. Like, bro, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep doing what I know best in it. So that's for me. I know how to write music. I know how to write good music. So that's like no lockdown's gonna stop me from doing that. So yeah, you're gonna have to cut off both my arms, and even then, I'll still find a way. You get me?
That's the
So
determination we like to see.
exactly, exactly.
So obviously the main reason for you coming on today is you got your new track that came out on
Yeah.
Friday with again collaborating with Anansi on that. Um,
hmm
Done For. Do you want to tell us a bit about that? Because obviously you and Anansi, that's like Chief Shadow, right? You two.
hmm
So
hmm
what? It
Yeah,
just
yeah,
explain
yeah.
to the people that might not know what is Chief Shadow basically.
So Chief Shadow's the duo of me and my blood cousin. Obviously a lot of people say like cousin and all this kind of stuff is like a general term, but no, that's my actual cousin. We share family,
Okay.
So hold tight cousin, hold tight the fam. Yeah, so obviously we basically are in a clique in a group called Leng Section. So yeah, basically we formed like a duo underneath that as well. Obviously, there's like a few members. So this year's all about really like just promoting that and just showing what we're made of and who we are. And we've got an EP called Questions,
Okay.
and that's going to be coming out in the future. But right now, we thought to just obviously tease you with question one, which is on this EP, we're going to be exploring seven questions: who, what, where, when, why, how, and if. So this is obviously who we are.
That
So yeah,
that's really clever actually. Like I'm glad you explained that because I literally like I don't think anyone's ever done anything like that before. It's just weird when you think
yeah,
about
no,
it.
it's one of them things where I think like we're born to create, innit? We're born to create, so you have to be creative. So I think like that's one thing about me as well is I like to do stuff that people ain't ever done before. Sometimes it has its its troubles and stuff. When I say to a producer like I want a beat that's like this, and then they say, "Have you got any references or anything like that?" And I go, "No,
No.
bro." Like you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Especially
it's
if you're not actually making the beats, I suppose it's hard to like explain what you want it to sound like, sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. So that's why I guess I have to get pretty hands on, and because it's one of those things where I don't want the beat to go a certain kind of way if I don't want it to go that way. So it's best if I'm there trying to help craft everything and whatnot. And yeah, man, like obviously that's the direction we're looking to go.
Sure. So do you know when about that'll be released in this year? Is it not decided yet?
Not decided yet. I've not got a date. We've got some other stuff to drop first. I've got an EP coming out. I'm trying to get it February. So I've really been trying to get it out there because like there's some songs on there that people have been asking for that I've been teasing. Um, like for example, the one mic freestyle that you just played. That's obviously going to be on there as like a little bonus track. I know
Sure.
people have been like hollering me constantly, like when's this going to
Yeah.
be on Spotify? When's this going to be on? You know what I mean? Whatever. So obviously, I'm trying to get it out for end of February, all being well, but we are in a pandemic,
Yeah.
so like it's not going to stop me. Might
Yeah.
make things a little bit longer. So
Sure.
yeah,
No, but that one mic freestyle we just played, it goes hard though, and like obviously views aren't
love.
everything, but it's like nearly on 100K on GRM Daily, which is obviously
Yeah,
like people are obviously liking it. And I remember when it came out, like I was like, I think I was like 3 at the time they premiered, so I was like, okay, I'll just like log on and look at it. I was literally like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, you always seem to bring something like new to the table with everything that you do, which is one of the things I like, and we'll talk a bit about that later when we come to like talking about your overall sound. But yeah, do you want to introduce Done For? We'll give it a play now.
So this next tune, my latest single, I'd like to just give a special shout out to my cousin Anansi. This next one is one from myself and him. It's called Done For, taken from our upcoming EP, Questions. Hope you enjoy it.
Yes, that was Done For by Jafro and Anansi on Pi Radio, out now. Go stream that.
Yeah, man. Respect.
Nah, I do love that. And again, it comes back to this, what I was saying before, which was each track you put out, it's always got that little something different to it, but it's always that Jafro sound. Obviously, it's always going to be Jafro because it's you on it. But do you know what I mean? Like, you've done like grime, proper R&B, dancehall, like all sorts really, and yet you always manage to maintain your sound. So I'm just wondering, how do you manage to do that?
I think it's just with my character. I think like it's just who I am. It's just me. Like one thing that I have sort of come across this year, and I say this year, because like it was very recently that I just kind of like really seen it in action. So I'd always gone with the theory. I'd always known that like when I'm gonna jump on a tune, I'm gonna do it my way. So therefore, it's always gonna have my sound regardless. But one of the things that I found was that like adding character and characteristics and your personality. Like I'm quite cheeky, I'm quite upbeat, I'm quite like positive, energetic, like sort of, but like also got that easygoing kind of vibe as well. I like to say something poignant, like something potent. So I like to put that out there. And I think that's something that like when I maintain that in an actual tune, rather than just sort of giving you straight bars, just giving you lyrics, just giving you a hook, which like a lot of artists tend to do. I feel like going that extra mile is by doing that and by applying that. And I feel like that's part of the reason why I guess that like, regardless of whether it sounds so varied, I think that like it's always, you're always going to listen and go, oh yeah, that's Jafro. Like it's going to be recognizable. And I think now this year, because for me, one of my biggest things is like obviously associating myself with a certain kind of sound. It's been quite varied. This year I feel like I'm onto something extra. Obviously I can't let into too much, but let's just say that obviously, you know, going back to my roots of you know, being Guyanese, being a South American Caribbean, it means that like I've been able to kind of associate myself and go, okay, cool, do you know what, like this kind of sound is actually, it sounds like quite like me, and like I'm proud of my heritage and I want to show that. And so this year I think that like things are gonna make even more sense. So like what you've been saying about the whole like how the sound is very varied, I think it's gonna make even more sense this year, where when you listen to Jafro music this year that drops, you're gonna be like, oh, I get it. Like it makes a lot of sense. So yeah.
Sure. So do you think like Anansi like feels the same about that as well? Because obviously you said you're both South American, especially on that track. Literally in the lyrics, you're talking about that and like paying homage to your heritage.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's a strong thing for both of you in that? And does that help like when you obviously work together, sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing is like a lot of artists do it, you know, and it's not a case of obviously, I think them doing it and us being like, oh yeah, let's do what they do. It's a case of, well, actually, like when I think about Guyana, when I think about that, I don't necessarily like I didn't even know certain artists were Guyanese until I actually did my research. People like Wretch 32, people like Deneo, people like even Rihanna's Guyanese.
Oh, is she?
You know, I had, yeah. I had no clue. Like, I had no clue. And so when I actually looked at it, I was like, no one's really like banging for us like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one's actually out there like flying the flag and stuff. Obviously, man's part Scottish as well, in my heritage. But like, that's the thing where like for me, it's like I've always felt like there's not like, I don't want to say a lack of, because that makes it sound like we need more, but like I think I've always kind of felt like, oh, like I wish there was more South American people or someone else that I could kind of relate to a bit more. So, you know, when I'm around South American people, I'm kind of like, bro, like you did that, like I do that kind of stuff. That's so strange. Like, not to say that obviously, you know, anyone that I'm around, like I'm the outsider, but it just kind of feels like it's nice to have something to relate to even more. And even in South America, like Guyana's the only English speaking country. So it's like you're kind of a minority in a minority. Do you know what I mean? Like with Guyana being part of the Caribbean as well, it's mad because then it's like you're part Caribbean, part South America. So it's like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're kind of this whole new thing that no one's kind of heard of, and you can't put your finger on it, and it's like you don't know what's what. So I think like a big part of me kind of like honing in on my sound, which as I said earlier, you know, and you'll hear it this year, you know, a big part of it has been like looking back at my heritage, looking about like, you know, where family comes from, where I originate, that kind of thing. So yeah, man, like even working with Anansi, as you know, back to your question, you know, like working with Anansi, it's one of those things that's even more like prominent, like when I'm working with him, and like it's kind of like I feel like I kind of have like a duty to do it as well. So yeah, man, I'm excited.
No, yeah, I'm excited now hearing you talk about it. Like, I genuinely, I was going to ask about what you had planned for this year, but after hearing that, like, I'm genuinely excited to see what you put out. But just to give the people out there who might not have listened to that much of your music before, I just want them to understand what I mean when I talk about how varied your sound is. So obviously, we've heard your one mic freestyle and your new track
Yeah,
Done For. So I thought the best track to sort of show like how versatile you are would be to go back to Peace, Lust and Sauce and like
okay,
play Friday from there, just so that people can see like the true extent of your
yeah,
abilities, basically. So
yeah.
yeah, without any further ado, this is Friday by Jafro from the 2018 EP Peace, Lust and Sauce. Yes, Friday by Jafro on Pi Radio. So hopefully those of you that are listening to that will have got what I mean about just how versatile Jafro can be in terms of going from literal grind to R&B to dancehall to more South American inspired music. Like literally, I feel like you're trying to like tick off like every single genre like on there, just like working your way through. I can't wait for the Jafro rock album. That'll be it. Like when we get to that
Yo,
stage.
funny story, funny story. I used to be in a band. I've already ticked that off. I used to
Okay.
be in a band, and like, yeah, we did like that sort of kind of stuff. So yeah, already done it. Already done it.
Is it possible to unearth those videos on YouTube, or are they long gone? Like,
I mean, it is, but that's gonna be have to like something that you find. You know what I mean? That's not something I'm trying to put out
yeah,
there,
you're
but
not gonna
it's
help
something
me with that.
I can't lie. I can't lie. It's something that I visit every so often, and I'm like, yeah, just to, you know, sometimes it's nice to just see the progression and stuff. I've even got like an embarrassing video of like when I was in year 7, and obviously the name Jafro came because I had some like lopsided afro. We won't go into that too much, but like, yeah, there's even a video on YouTube of me like spitting bars like that. So yeah, it's nice to sometimes just like reminisce, look back on them videos, see the progression, see how far, like, you know, it's been a journey. So
Yeah,
yeah, man.
I mean, I was gonna ask because obviously, that EP that we just played Friday from, I think you
Mhm.
dropped that around the same time that I met you, like approximately 3 years ago now. So like, it doesn't feel that old, but that 3 years is like a long time. So how do you feel like hearing that and looking back? Like, do you feel like you're a different person now, or do you think you're the same but just with a bit more
Oh,
like I don't
definitely,
know, like
definitely.
what are your thoughts?
I mean, like, I feel like my growth as a person is something that I'm like particularly proud of, and I don't even feel like I'm the same person as last year. So, like me, since hearing it, like hearing the tune, it reminds me of when I was in studio and stuff, like making it and whatnot, and like it proper does like throw me back to then. And you know, I do like kind of listen, and I think, yeah, but it also feels like I kind of made it yesterday, man. Like sometimes I listen to it and I'm like, yeah, man, like this song still sounds brand new. Like I still love it, I still enjoy it, and like, yeah. But also I think like just me as a person, I'm just definitely different since then. Definitely,
Sure.
definitely.
So you talked a bit about, obviously you got your questions EP as part of, that's part of Chief Shadow, right? And that
Yeah,
is undetermined date, but that sounds like a really interesting concept with the whole 7 tracks, one for each question word, basically.
yeah,
And then you're also saying you've got your um, solo EP, which hopefully will be out around February time. Yeah.
yeah.
So I wanted to ask. I saw on your Instagram you were recording a music video recently. Can you tell us anything about what to expect for that or what that's for?
So that was for my EP is called I Am Jaguar, and there's a track on my EP called I Am Jaguar, and basically that was the music video for that. So yeah, like
Yeah.
that's all I can really say at the minute.
Yeah.
You know, it's being made as we speak. I'm
Cool.
literally about to like, as soon as we finish this, I'm literally about to like send a couple messages in relation to that. So
Sure.
yeah, like
How
yeah.
are you finding it? Obviously managing, because it says a lot, because when I think of you, I think of someone who is obviously an established musician. Like you've made a proper name for yourself. Like people like know who you are, like across. Obviously, that there'll be people who know you globally, but especially across like the UK. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like you've established quite a presence, yet you still got your 9 to 5. You know what I mean? So it's just like, how do you find that, like balancing the two?
Um, to me, work is work, innit? Like work is work. You know, bills got to get paid. Bills got to get paid. Regardless of who you are, what you do, you know. And there's no shame in working. I think like there's a lot of artists that still probably do. Like I'm quite vocal about it because it's not something that I care about. I never want to come across like a bow wow type guy where I'm like, yeah, look at me in my private jet and stuff. Because it's not that. Do you know what I mean? It's not that. And I'd be lying if I said it was that. Um, and I think like that age old saying, the truth sets you free. Like it does, man. Like I can't hide from it. You know what I mean? Tomorrow I'm gonna be back in work at 9 o'clock. So
Uh,
you know, it's one of those things where I think like as soon as that work finishes, the Jafro work starts. You know, and then we resume wherever we left off. And like that's just it really. Like, do you know what I mean? That's just it until I'm obviously the end goal is to, you know, survive off music. But whilst I'm not doing that, then something else is gonna pay the bills.
you know, when you're like describing that to me, like again, like we've got this on recording, so if you take this idea and like use it in the future, I'm gonna come back for you. But it's basically that.
I'm gonna have a letter in the mail like, oh, my 5%. Yo.
But literally, when you're talking about that, I'm literally just thinking, I've got this concept in my head of you like as sort of like Jafro Superman. So you know the whole like Clark Kent thing where like you're doing work all day, and then at 5 p.m. that work finishes and it's Jafro time.
Big J on my chest and that.
Yeah, literally. Like, I think that I gave you permission to use that. I think that's quite good. Like, I'll give myself a pat on the back for that. Like, but yeah,
Yeah, no, that's a good shout. That's a good shout. I might do it. I might even the do-rag might come off the waves. You know what I mean? That there.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
No, I love it. But yeah, it probably brings us to the end of the interview. Thank you so much for coming on. Just anything else you want to say to the people before we play a few more tracks of yours?
I don't really have anything else to say apart from just everyone stay safe, man. Because
Yeah,
we are in a pandemic. Do you know what I mean? There is a virus going around,
yeah.
and regardless of your views about it, you know what I mean. Just keep safe, man. Like that's all I'd say. Like obviously, I'd love for you all to like follow me and stuff on social media and that. So
Tell people where they can find you.
yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah. You can find me at official Jafro on any social media. So look for me there. But yeah, man, like obviously just keep showing the love, keep sharing, liking the tunes. Stay tuned. I got a lot coming this year, as I say, that I'm really excited about. hopefully trying to get I Am Jaguar out on the end of February. But most importantly, man, stay safe. Like, stay blessed.